Hey guys, today we are going to learn about how to manage database using SQL commands. Whenever a developer works with MySQL, they communicate with the database by writing SQL commands. These commands allows us to create database, create tables, insert information, retrieve information, and update and delete also the data when it's no longer needed. As a software developer, these are some of the most commonly used SQL commands. So, understanding them is a very important skill. Throughout this lesson, we'll focus on the basic commands that every beginner should know before moving on to advanced database topic. Let's take a quick look at what we'll cover in today's lesson. First, we will learn how to connect MySQL so we can communicate with the database server. Then we'll create our own database. Think of a database as a container that stores all the information related to an application. After creating the database, we'll create a table. So the tables are where the actual data is organized into rows and columns. Once our table is ready, we'll insert records into it. Retrieve those records, update existing information whenever necessary, and delete records that we no longer need. By the end of today's practice session, you'll understand the complete basic workflow of working with MySQL database. Before we start writing SQL commands, there's one important concept you should understand. SQL commands are grouped into different categories based on what they do. The first category is DDL, or Data Definition Language. These commands define the structure of the database, such as creating or deleting database and tables. Next is DML, or Data Manipulation Language. These commands work with the data stored inside the table. They allow us to insert, update, and delete as well the records. Then we have DQL, which stands for Data Query Language. This category is mainly used to retrieve information from the database using select command. You'll also see DCL, which controls user permissions, and TCL, which manage database transactions. These are important topics, but they are generally covered after you master the basics. For today's lesson, we'll mainly focus DDL, DML, and DQL as well, because they are the foundation of every database operation. So let's start with DDL. What is DDL? DDL stands for Data Definition Language. As the name suggests, these commands are responsible for defining or changing the structure of a database. Whenever you need to create a database, create a table, modify an existing table, or permanently remove a table or database, we use these DDL commands. Some of the most common DDL commands are create, alter, drop, and truncate. In today's practice session, we'll use create to create our database and table, and later we'll use drop to remove them. And also we'll save, alt, and truncate for upcoming lessons. Once the structure is ready, we need to work with the actual data stored in our tables. That's where DML comes in. So the DML stands for Data Manipulation Language. These commands allows us to insert new records, update existing records whenever information changes, and also delete records that are no longer needed. The three main DML commands are insert, update, and delete as well. These are commands you will use in almost every database application because real-world data is constantly being added, modified, and removed. Now, after storing data inside a table, we obviously need a way to view it. That's where DQL comes into the picture. DQL stands for Data Query Language. Its primary purpose is to retrieve information from the database. The main command is that category is select. Using select, we can display all records. retrieve only specific columns, or even filter the user results conditions such as where clause. Whenever you want to see the database stored inside a table, select is the command you will use. Now let's quickly review all the SQL commands we will be using in the today's practical demonstration. We'll begin with show databases, which displays all the database available on the MySQL server. Next, we will use create database to create brand new database. After that, we'll use command to select the database we want to work with. Then we use show tables. This allows us to display all the tables inside the currently selected database. We'll then create our first table using create table command. To view the structure of that table, we'll use the DESC commands. That means describe. Next comes insert into, which allows us to add records to our table. To retrieve those records, we'll use the select statement. We'll then modify existing data using the update command. If we need to remove a specific record, we'll use the delete command. After that, we'll delete the table using drop table. Finally, we'll remove the entire database using drop database, and once we are finished, we'll close MySQL using exist command. Don't worry, if these commands seems new right now, in just a moment we'll switch to the MySQL command line and perform every one of them step by step. So you will see exactly how they work in a real environment. Now that we have understood the purpose of each SQL command, so it's time to put our knowledge into practice. Let's open the MySQL command line and start managing our very first database together, one command at a time. So let's move to the practical demonstrator.
Okay guys, let's connect to our MySQL server. To do that, open your command prompt and type MySQL u root p. I will type it. MySQL then -u root -p. U option specifies the username, which is root by default, and p tells MySQL to ask us for the password. When I press it, enter, MySQL asks our password. So now enter the password you created during the MySQL installation. So I will add my password. You can't see it. Then I press enter. So we connected our MySQL server. Okay guys, now let's see what databases already exist on our MySQL server. To display all available databases, type show databases followed by semicolon. So I will type show databases, then add a semicolon. Then I press send. As you can see, MySQL displays all the databases currently installed on the server. Okay guys, let's create our very first database. To create a database, type create database followed by the database name. In this example, I am creating a database called school. So I will type create database school, then add a semicolon. When I press enter, it shows an error. What is that? Can't create database school. Database exit. What does it mean? So the school I created, it is already exit. Let's look at it. Then I press show databases. So you can see the whole databases in our MySQL server. Then I press enter. Let's see if they have school database. Yeah, the MySQL server have school database already. So I should delete it. So delete that. I will type drop database. Then you should mention the database name. Then I type school and add a semicolon. After the press enter, you can see the successfully deleted our database. Query OK means the command is successful. Okay. Then I create again our school database. So I type create database school and add a semicolon. Okay. Then let's check again. Show databases. Oh, show databases. So you can see the school databases created. Okay. So guys, before creating tables, we need to tell MySQL which database we want to work with. To do that, type use followed by the database name. So I need to use school database. Then I type use school. Then add a semicolon. After press enter, database will change. So check it. If you're ever unsure which database you are currently using, MySQL provides a simple command. Type select database, then add a bracket. After adding a bracket, then add a semicolon, then press enter. So you can see what database you actually use. Perfect. Now let's create our first table. The commands start with create table followed by the table name. Then I type student. Our table is called student. Okay. Then add an open bracket. Then press enter. So you can add the value inside the bracket. Okay. So I type ID in primary key. Then add a comma. The ID column stores whole numbers and is also the primary key. Primary key means each student must have a unique ID. Then I add name. Name Vacha. Then I add the value. The name must be less than the 50 count. Okay. So when I add the data type Vacha, the name column store text using the Vacha data type. Then I type age. The data type of age is int. Then finally don't you add the comma. Then press enter and close the bracket. Then add a semicolon. After you type in the command, press the enter key. So I said the query OK means the command was successful. It means the student tables was created. Okay. So let's check it out. Then I type show tables at a semicolon, then press enter. So you can see the student table was created. If we want to remove a specific row from the table, we use the delete from statement. So the where clause is very important because it tells MySQL exactly which record to delete. So after writing the command, I press enter. As you can see, only one students remain in the table because the second record has been deleted. So check it. So I type select all from student. So you can see it. If you no longer need an entire table, you can remove it using drop table. So I type drop table, then the table name student. Be careful, this permanently deletes both the table and all of the data stored inside it. So deleted successfully. Finally, if you want to delete an entire database, use drop database followed by the database name. So I type drop database, then the database. What is our database? School. Then press enter. Successful. So you can see it clearly deleted. Show databases. Then press enter. So you can see a database called school. So once you finish working, simply type exit and press enter to close the MySQL session. So I type exit, then press enter. Perfect.